Welcome in, everybody. How we doing tonight? My name is Dr. Ray. I'm your host here on the Hot Corner each and every Wednesday night, coming to you live at 7 p.m. And if you're not listening live, we're coming to you whenever you went ahead and decided to listen to this podcast on archive. So either way, we thank you for listening. We want to let you know what we're going to be talking about here on the show tonight. We have a lot to talk about as far as baseball goes, as far as fantasy goes, so stay tuned for you sports fans out there that want to talk about that. And then our health topic of the night is also concerning BMR versus BMI. If you guys don't know what BMR and BMI are, something that goes a very long way in helping to determine weight loss and helping to determine how many calories you should eat every day, figuring out what's healthy. And then BMI is also used by a lot of doctors and insurance companies, believe it or not, to rate you as your health. And it's kind of a rudimentary number. We'll talk about why, but it's all on the show here tonight. So let's go ahead and get into it a little bit here. I want to introduce my main man, my co-host, Mr. Manuel T. Ferrero III, the lion who makes lions. Manny, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Dr. Ray. Dr. Ray, opening night was this past weekend. Fantasy baseball is in full swing. As a matter of fact, our little game that's going on this week between me and you, Dr. Ray, I don't know how that happened, but for some reason we always get to play each other the first week of the season, where it's a pretty tight game. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but how are you? How have you been, brother, since last time we spoke?
Man, I'm actually doing pretty good. I don't know if you noticed, I'm a little tired today, man. It's been a long day. I'm usually not tired, but Monday night was a championship basketball game, so I stayed up to watch that, and I was pumped up after the game because it was such a good game. I didn't get to sleep until late, and then I had my early morning Tuesday meetings at 7 a.m., so I was up at like 5:30, and I feel like I just haven't caught up since then, since I've been working so much. But, man, it's been great. It's a blessing to be tired right now at this time. I got to admit that. But, other than that, man.
Oh, you need some Cuban coffee in you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I haven't had not 1 ounce of coffee today. And I don't normally drink coffee every single day, but especially when I know that I haven't slept so much and those types of things, it's always a good idea. But ready to go right now, ready to get this show moving, ready to get everybody out there entertained and informed, so that we can keep the hot corner rolling like we always do, man. Let's start off with fantasy baseball. Let's go ahead and let's go right into our league, man. The Hot Corner Listener League. We had an awesome draft last week. We did the first round here, the first 6 rounds live on the air, and then we went ahead and finished off the air. And let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about what went down here. Manny, after the draft, did you get to see all the different teams? Do you see any teams that you think are better than others, or what do you think is going on right now?
Yeah, I think my team is better than everybody else, pretty much. I don't see anybody taking this other than myself, brother.
All right, well, I like that. That's the way that you got to look at it. 100%. That's the way that you got to look at it. Well, let me see here. As a rookie commissioner here, I'll go ahead and I'll admit it. It looks like I overlooked something and I messed up. And right now our league is a weekly league, and we got to see if we can get that changed somehow with Yahoo, because I've never actually done a weekly league before. It may be kind of fun. Because you have to look at 2-start pitchers, all that kind of stuff. But that being said, I mean, who knows how it's going to turn out. It's definitely different. I mean, in my weekly lineup, I left out Jake Arrieta, who got me 27 points today already. So that's 27 points on my bench that if we were in a weekly league, I would have had against you there, Mr. Manny. So be happy.
Don't worry about it, man. We're only about 7.43 points away, I guess, from each other. You're up about 7 points But I'm right there, man. I'm right there. We still got a lot of baseball to go. Number one this week. We still got a lot of baseball to go during the whole season. But man, look at Maiden Dade. Maiden Dade has 149 points already.
Yeah, that's Dyrone's team, I think, if I'm not incorrect. But his team has been doing very well right now. Let's take a look at some of his performers here. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the matchup versus Albert's team. Funnily enough, Albert actually has one of the least amount of points out of everybody. And so Maiden Dade has the most. So his Pedroia has been doing very well with him. He had those 2 home runs the first night. Adrian Gonzalez also. Adrian Gonzalez is probably the number 1 player in the majors right now. Then he had Johnny Cueto, who threw those 10 Ks with no earned runs. He didn't get the win, which would have been even more points, but he got him 27. And then he's had a couple pretty solid starts from all the rest of his pitchers, and Neftali Feliz got him a little save in there also. So he's had some pretty good guys here. So his team looks like they're off to a good start. We'll see what we got. He's got Kimbrel as well. So he's got a lot of relievers there. So I like what he's doing. He's got 4 relievers in the game with Kimbrel, with Holland, with Feliz, and with Hector Rondon. So we'll see how that plays out with him. It looks like he's going heavy with the relief pitching, which in a weekly league may actually be a pretty good idea. So we'll see how he does moving forward, and we'll analyze that kind of strategy if we can't change it back up to a daily league. Adoncibia Bailbon is also doing pretty good right now. They also have in the 140. Corey Dickerson has been going off. Troy Tulowitzki, all those games in all those Colorado teams so far our players have been just lighting up the scoreboard. Let's see, Phil Hughes did pretty well for him. Liriano did pretty well for him. Everybody, all his pitchers are scoring in the team. He's in a little bit of trouble because he's now got 2 relief pitchers on the DL. Joe Nathan just went down. Then he's got Jake McGee and Sean Doolittle. So he's got 3 closers on his team. 3 or 4 closers on his team because he also has Trevor Rosenthal, 3 or 4 on the DL. So he's going to have to make a couple moves. And one thing that I like about this league, Manny, too, is that we actually have 6 players that we can put in. So there's 6 people that we can pick up every single week. So right now, if we look at adding some of the players out there, and take a look at some of the free agents that are out there right now, looks like Jason Kipnis got dropped. Looks like Jason Worth, Alex Rios, and Coco Crispo got dropped. But if we go right now to the best ranked player that's on the waiver wire as far as hitters go, it's actually Alex Rios, who was actually just dropped as well too. But he started off the first day doing very, very well. Jake Lamb is the number 2 ranked player, but he actually has the most points out of everybody. He's the 3rd baseman over there in Arizona. He's got that home run. He's got 7 RBIs. I think he might be leading the majors right now in RBIs. But, Manny, if I asked you who is the number 1 player in fantasy right now, who would you say it would be?
Probably Dustin Pedroia.
Well, Dustin Pedroia is actually ranked 11th right now, so that's close. But believe it or not, I actually told you earlier without knowing what the rankings were. I actually mentioned it. Adrian Gonzalez is the number 1 player right now as far as batters go. Now, as far as pitchers go, who do you think is the number 1 pitcher so far? All the aces have gone. So, who do you think is the number 1 ranked pitcher?
What about Lester, man? Lester had a good outing.
Well, not that good. He is not here in these top ranks. I'm not seeing him here. But right now, the number 1 ranked pitcher, actually he's ranked number 5 overall, but the highest ranking pitcher out of anybody is actually Sonny Gray, who just happens to be on my team. So the 2nd ranked pitcher is not owned. So, Manny, you might want to go out there and pick up Clay Buchholz. What do you think about that?
Sounds like a plan, Dr. Ray. I'm going to look into it right as we speak right now.
There you go. And in addition to that, we also have C.J. Wilson out there, who is a pretty good inning eater, man. C.J. Wilson has thrown 200 innings, I think, pretty much like every year since he got started. So, I think he's going to be a good guy to own as well, too. So that's a guy that I might look at getting off the waiver wire if he needs some help pitching. These are the kind of guys that you want to look for, guys who have kind of lost their appeal. C.J. Wilson was a pretty high pick a few years ago, but he's kind of dropped in value ever since then after a couple of mediocre seasons. But he's a guy that when he puts it all together, he can definitely pitch well.
Hey, Dr. Ray, what do you think about dropping Ryu from the Dodgers? He's in the on the DL right now, as well as Bailey from Cincinnati and Smiley from Tampa Bay. They're all on the DL. They're my pitchers. Who should I drop for Buckholz?
Well, I think that you actually have the ability to put these guys onto the DL. See if when you go to editing your lineup, you can actually put one of these guys onto the DL, and that will actually free up a roster spot for you. And so you don't necessarily have to drop them, but you can just place them on the disabled list on your fantasy squad, so you can keep them, and you can go ahead and pick somebody else up as well too. But out of those three, that's kind of tough. Ryu doesn't really have a timetable for his comeback, and it's a shoulder injury. Homer Bailey had a tear in his flexor tendon, which is never a good thing, but he does look like he's on the way back, barring any setbacks. So he's probably the closest. Maybe Drew Smiley's a little bit closer. Those two guys, I'd say, are the closest to coming back. Both of their timetables are expected at the end of April. The tendonitis that he has is probably the least menacing out of all the injuries. So the order that I would drop or keep in better would be, number one, I would keep Drew Smiley, a lefty with some pretty good strikeout potential. Number two, Homer Bailey, still in a perfect game, so, he definitely has the talent, and he just put it all together. But that flexor strain and tear is kind of scary. And then finally, Hyun-Jin Ryu, who is, on the latter side of his career, as well as, not really a timetable for him to come back. So one of those things where because there's less information and less of a timetable, if you have to do a drop, I would be looking at Hyun-Jin Ryu dropping on your side there, Manny.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do right now.
Also, was that you that dropped Kipnis and Rios, huh?
Yeah, man, I'm thinking I made a mistake. What do you think?
Kipnis could probably deliver some late-round value. He's a guy that if he's doing well, he could do well. Alex Rios, if he didn't have a thumb injury, I think he'd be a great play as well, too. He's got a power-speed combo. He hits for average as well, too. He's playing for Kansas City now, so a little bit of a change of scenery. Sometimes that's good for guys. Sometimes it's bad for guys, you never know. But either way, I think that Rios is a pretty good player. He should be rostered, but truth is, you kind of have a crowded outfield. I mean, you got Stanton, you got Puig, you got Cespedes, you got Bruce. I mean, there isn't really much room for him on your team, quite honestly. So you got a lot of hitters. You may want to use those hitters, maybe put a package together, try to see if you can make a trade, and there's these guys out on the waivers that you can pick up when they're in need. But you got a lot of pitchers on the DL right now, and 3 of them are taking up starting spots, and you only have 1 on the bench. So you definitely need to make a move here. You've got too much pitching and not enough anything else. You got too much hitting and not enough pitching. You have 2 relief pitchers. And, you have 3 relief pitchers, and you only have 2 starters right now in your lineup because of the fact that everybody else is benched and on the DL. So you definitely have to make some roster moves here, Manny. Otherwise, I hate to say it, my man, but you're definitely going to lose this week against a pretty strong Dr. Ray team.
We'll see, man. I'm waiting for some waivers to come through. I did a couple of changes here and there, but yeah, I gotta change up my lineup, man. But man, now I see we gotta wait until next week to change the lineup. We gotta change that lineup changer to daily, man.
I think you might be right. I think we do have to do that. I'm not really liking that too much either myself here. I got a lot of guys on the bench that are not getting into play. I got guys that just got injured that now, can't play either. So, there's definitely a lot here that needs to get changed up a little bit, my man. But let me see. Did they give us any drafts, any type of draft grades or anything? Did you remember seeing anything like that at all, Manny?
No, man, and I was looking for it. I really, I'm not too familiar with this, Dr. Ray. You're the resident expert in fantasy world, so I really have no idea, man. This is all in Japanese to me.
All Japanese. Oh, well, that's no good. Alrighty. Well, let me see here. I don't really remember seeing any. I know somebody dropped Alex Cobb, I think, and I was trying to pick him up, but somebody beat me to that waiver request. But let's take a look at some of the adds and drops that we've seen here. Jason Wirtz was dropped. He landed on the DL. So Albert went ahead and picked up Lorenzo Cain. We have Kenley Jansen was dropped. He's a closer for LA, probably one of the best closers in the game, but injured right now. So he is on the free agency wire now. And Sergio Roma got picked up 2 moves by Albert's team. And then Brandon picked up Alex Cobb. So he put in the waiver. He beat me out on that waiver there. So that was by Brandon from B-Man 18. So he picked up Cobb. And then we've got Kipnis that was dropped by you for Stephen Vogt from Oakland, who qualifies at 3 positions, which is actually really good. You can plug him in at catcher, first base, or outfield. So he does give you some pretty good roster flexibility. And then you went ahead and picked up the number 1 starter, Buck, which was Clay Buchholz, and you dropped Hyunjin Ryu. So you're already listening. Maiden Date is going to be mad that I'm giving you advice here live on the air. But all I have to say to that is if you want advice live on the air, all you got to do is call in. It's not just for Manny. It's for anybody out there that's listening. If you got a fantasy team, you have a question about who to sit, who to start, who might have a better year, about an injury, anything like that that's going on. I may not be right, but I'll at least give you an opinion. And, you can use that to make your own decision. It's pretty funny because I actually listen to some fantasy radio, fantasy sports talk radio. And, every once in a while I'll tweet one of the guys and I'll say, hey, what should I do here in this situation? And every time I take their advice, I should have done the opposite. And normally they tell me to do something that I would have done the opposite way. So maybe call in and do the opposite of whatever it is that I tell you, and see how that works out. That's another strategy. But anyway, just some fun right there, because that does happen to me every once in a while. I'll say, hey, do I start this guy, or this guy? Should I make this trade, that trade, or that trade? And, that's where we end up. So anyway, I've got a predicament of my own here. And you guys remember, I think from a couple weeks back, where I told you that I had a fantasy draft, and my team actually got auto drafted, and it left me with, oh man, probably one of the worst teams I've ever seen. Just no kind of, I've got all hitting, and I've got no ability for anything else. All my pitchers are just disgraceful pitchers right now at this point. It's really no good. So I don't know, what to do in this case, because all the hitters that I have on the bench, if I drop them, they're going to get picked up right away. They're 100% owned. And that means to me that I need to make a trade with somebody. The problem is that I'm trying to trade guys in my league, and I told them, listen, I had Mike Trout. I got the first pick, which is actually really good because that way I can kind of do a 2-for-1 trade. But nobody in the league right now wants to be fair at all. I said, hey, I'll do a 2-for-1. Offer me trades for Mike Trout, this and that. So, I get a trade offer from Mike Trout. Michael Pineda from Mike Trout, straight up. Pineda was probably like a 15th, 16th round draft pick. How are you going to offer a 15th, 16th round draft pick for the first overall pick? Not even a first rounder, but pretty much number 1 consensus overall pick, Mike Trout. So people in the league are definitely being greedy, knowing that I want to try to sell as fast as possible. But you know, I'm not going to give in. I'm not going to just drop these guys. I'm probably going to take a loss here for the first week of the season, but I'm going to wait for some injuries to happen. There's already some injuries happening, you know, and from there I'm going to go ahead and see what guys are going to need, and then they're going to be kind of forced into making some plays here, and that's really what I'm kind of hoping for is that an injury will happen, and then from there, you know, I go ahead and come in, and that's where I make the play on these guys. So, you know, we'll see what ends up happening, but I definitely have to make some moves. That is for sure. Do you remember this team that I'm telling you about at all, Manny?
Yeah, the terrible team. Yeah, I totally remember.
The terrible team. Well, let me go through it with you real quick. Let me ask you, Manny, if you had this team, what would you do here? All right. At catcher, I've got Russell Martin, who middle of the pack.
That's not bad.
Not really there. Not bad. First base, I've got Chris Davis, who big power, very streaky hitter. When he's on a streak, he's good. When he's not, he's horrible. No, definitely not my choice. I don't have him in any other league, and I wouldn't have him in any other league if it was my choice. At second base, I've got Colton Wong and Chase Utley. Then I've got at shortstop, I've got Eric Ibar from LA. Again, middle of the pack guy. LA lineup is getting pretty good, so he could score some runs as long as he gets on base. You know, he could be productive. Adrian Beltre at third base, and also Matt Carpenter at third base. So I've got two pretty good options at third base, two guys that I like, but I'm thinking Adrian Beltre could be a good trade piece, you know, good name, maybe a guy who maybe this is the first year that he starts to really decline, who knows, but it's still early, so maybe I can get by on his name still. That's kind of one of the ways that I like to kind of think about this stuff. And then moving forward, then in the outfield, and this is where I really have a problem. I have a log jam here in the outfield. I've got Mike Trout. I've got Adam Jones. I've got Cole Calhoun. I've got Billy Hamilton. I've got Jay Bruce. I've got Mookie Betts, all in my outfield. And then I have David Ortiz as a DH, who the only place I can put him is at utility. So, you know, I mean.
Well, you know what time it is, right, Dr. Ray?
What time is it, Manny?
It's wheeling and dealing time, brother. It's time to start trading.
It's time to start trading. Well, I have definitely been offering some trades. I've been offering trades like crazy, and they've all just been getting shut down. I'm offering 3 guys for 1. So far, I've offered Adam Jones, Cole Calhoun, and Jay Bruce, all for James Shields, and I got turned down. I've offered Mookie Betts, Jay Bruce, and Adam Jones for Corey Kluber, and I got turned down. So, I mean, these guys are really holding on to these pitchers in their league, and I'm stuck here with my pitchers are Julio. How
many players are in that league?
It's a 12-team league, so there's a lot of players. A lot of players.
Yeah, man, that's the problem.
Yeah, and you know, my pitching is just, man, I'm just depressed about it. Julio Teheran and Garrett
Dr.
Cole,
Ray, but I'm sorry to interrupt. Man, I'm watching here the Marlins game, and it's kind of sad, man. This is just the 3rd game of the season, and the seats are completely empty, man. Completely empty, man. And Giancarlo Stanton, my first-round draft pick, just struck out.
Man, talk about a depression right there. Yeah, that's so good.
Man, for real.
I mean, he walked 3 times last night. Unfortunately, Michael Morris behind him is going to really start to have to come through a little bit and offer some protection there in the lineup because I don't think he's going to get much of it right now at this point. Whoa, there we go. We got a text, a tweet, or a call. Manny, what do we have here?
Actually, it's a message coming in on Facebook, and I think it's directed more towards ISPS. And I guess I could answer this question. They want to know, when are we getting our World Championship rings? I don't know if you've been following us, Dr. Ray, about the ring situation. We had a former ring manufacturer that had given us a set rate, and for the past couple of years we've been using them, and then all of a sudden this past World Championships and forward, they decided to completely change their prices, and I'm not talking just a couple bucks. I'm talking about a substantial difference. So this just caught us off guard. It caught us out of the blue. It really messed up our budgets for our tournaments, and we're trying to stay within the budgets that we've always been hosting those big ring tournaments at. So we're trying to. We found. We went out. We started looking for other ring manufacturers, and we finally found some. But they are delaying. It's a lot of rings. They have their own back orders, plus all the back order rings that we have. And I'm not talking about just a couple rings. I'm talking about dozens and dozens of rings that have been on delay. But everything is in place. Everything's in order. You will get your World Championship rings, so do not worry. Do not worry. Everything is fine. We will never forget our world champions. It's just that, and I'm not going to mention any ring manufacturers' names. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus or anything, but they just caught us off guard. They just totally caught us off guard with the budget change, and we just couldn't afford the new rates that they were giving us after all these. It's been like 2 or 3 years that we've been using them. And it was just too late to change the budget for those tournaments. So we decided after the fact to find a new ring manufacturer and just continue to move on. But you will get your rings, guys. Don't worry. I receive emails and text messages from all different teams every day. Do not worry about it, guys. You will get your rings. Sorry about that, Dr. Ray. That was a quick little sidetrack there.
No, that's okay. You know what? I really want to get one of those rings. Tell me, how do we get an ISPS ring? How do you earn one of those? And also, you know, what tournaments are coming up where those will be made available?
Well, our ring tournaments are usually like our state tournaments, Winter Worlds, and of course the World Championships, which is our biggest ring. I'm pretty sure a lot of our listeners have seen the ring out there on social media. So just continue. I believe, well, the Winter Worlds was in January, so you just missed that. But I believe July is our state championships. So there you'll be able to win some state champion rings. And then in November is the big one, the big kahuna. And it's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at the Mills Pond Softball Complex, I believe it's November 7th weekend. That will be our World Championships. And also for the international players, all of our national tournaments, like in Puerto Rico and Bahamas, Mexico, Dominican Republic, those are all ring tournaments as well. So if you travel to those tournaments, or if you're one of the local tournament teams from those nations, you'll have a chance to win some hardware. Take it home.
Sounds pretty good to me. I want to win some hardware, my man. I want to try to get in one of those tournaments here. Who is, let me see, does John Fisher normally put the team together for that, right?
Yeah, I believe John Fisher, Bad Karma, which I always tell him, you got to change that name, man. You're not going to win with a team name called Bad Karma, man. You're just asking for bad karma, pretty much. So I believe he puts in a team every World Championships, or I believe he's going to participate in states. Yeah, man, that's totally true. John Fisher from Fisher Law Firm, the official law firm of ISPS.
All right, I'm going to have to get with him then and see what we can do about getting a team on, getting some stuff going here. I want to get one of those rings, man. I want to go ahead and get some of that ISPS hardware. Tell you what else I want to get, one of those ISPS compression sleeves, man. Tell me about those.
Oh my God, Dr. Ray, it's they've been flying off the shelves, man. We just as a matter of fact, we shot some of the pictures yesterday with an arm model down here in Coral Gables, Florida. And we released the pictures today, and I believe we've already sold about 29 pairs in just a few hours, man. And a lot of our listeners from California have been buying them. And for some reason, the blacks, and the all blacks, the all whites, the USA, and the Mexico has actually been one of our top sales in just a few hours, man. But pretty amazing, man. In just a few hours, 29 pairs have gone out, and I'm sure a few more after. I last saw it around 5 o'clock, so I don't know if any other orders have come in. But 29 pairs, that's pretty cool, man. And you'll see it on our shop at ispssoftball.com. Right there, you can see our compression sleeves. We have. Man, Dr. Ray, what we did is we pretty much just decided to do the countries where we're going to be at this year to host a national tournament, like in Puerto Rico and Mexico. Actually, I lied. We actually did a Cuban one also because of the Cuban-American community down here in South Florida. But that's what we did. And as a matter of fact, we've been getting a lot of messages, a lot of emails asking for other countries, and particularly the Virgin Islands. The Virgin Islands got a few requests. England, the Philippines, a bunch of different requests for a bunch of different Honduras, Panama, Canada, and all these we're going to make some more. We got to design them with our design team. So give us a few days, guys. I know that we work really fast, but we just didn't expect such a high demand for these compression sleeves. And Dr. Ray, thank you for bringing them up. Can you explain to our listeners what a compression sleeve does and how does it help you train? Because I know that a lot of athletes use it. What does it do to your muscles and all that stuff when you're actually training and playing out there?
That's right. Well, a compression sleeve actually has a very good way of helping keep your muscle warmer for longer. The compression, some people think that, oh man, if I'm squeezing something, it's going to decrease blood flow. But what it does is because it's tight on your skin, every time you're moving, it's actually creating a very small amount of friction. So it's stimulating blood flow to the skin. And so it does help with blood flow. And it also helps to keep your muscle warmer and for longer, which is important because in softball it's stop, go, warm up, warm down, warm up, cool down, this and that. And you end up, creating more chances for muscular injury. So they kind of help to keep the muscle, under some pressure, under some tension, and it helps out with that. So they help kind of reduce injury a little bit. I'm not sure if there's any studies on it, but I think in principle, to me, it makes sense that they would help to reduce injury for sure. So I would recommend them. I know I want to get one as soon as you get those Peruvian ones made. So let me know about that, and I'll go ahead and I'll place that order in right there, man.
I wonder if they actually play slow pitch softball in Peru. Do you know, Dr. Ray?
As a matter of fact, they do not.
They do not. That's a soccer country, correct?
Yeah, it's all soccer. I mean, literally everything is soccer. I saw basketball hoops over there, but there was no netting or anything like that. It was just soccer goals underneath. So literally, there's basketball, but it's all converted to soccer. I asked, is there any baseball? Is there any softball fields? Any baseball fields? Completely no mention of it. None of that going on. So
I bet. Yeah, that's how it is in some of these South America countries. Very, very rare. You'll see them in Venezuela a lot, Mexico, and it's because of the it's actually because of our country, United States. Back in the days when they would send the oil companies from North America over to like Venezuela and stuff. The workers on their time off, they would play baseball out there in the fields, and the people from Venezuela or the people around, they would watch them play, and they would start playing, and the Americans would teach them how to play. And it's just in certain countries where you actually see baseball and softball played, man. And I had no idea about that until I actually went to the Venezuelan Hall of Fame when I was over there, and I learned about that in one of their displays, man. Very interesting that the oil companies and oil had some influence in baseball in those countries.
Yeah, it was crazy to me. I mean, you drive around here and all the time you see baseball diamonds and softball fields and all that's all over the place. And then I remember driving around in Peru and looking for it, and looking for that orange clay, and I didn't see it anywhere. So it was kind of crazy to see for sure, and I'm sure that there's a lot of countries like that. And I think that may be one of the reasons why baseball kind of fell out of favor with the Olympics and with all that as well too. Simply because it's just not played around the world like a lot of those other sports and athletic activities are. I'm not saying that javelin is particularly a world renowned or a world played sport or anything like that, because I can't think of any type of javelin leagues or anything like that. But anyway, I'm just saying I think that might actually be one of the reasons why baseball was taken out of the Olympics, which I was actually pretty upset about. But I think it may just be because there's a lot of countries out there that just don't play it like we do. It is America's pastime for sure, and I guess it just hasn't caught on everywhere else around the world.
Here's my theory, my conspiracy theory on that. I think they're going to bring it back for the 2020s Olympics just because it's in Japan, and Japan is a very they play baseball a lot, so I think they're going to bring it back just because of that. What's your opinion on that, Dr. Ray? Bringing back baseball in the Olympics in the 2020 Japan Olympics.
I mean, I sure hope they do. I mean, I really hope that they do. I hope they bring it back even sooner than that. Well, actually, there is no sooner than that. What, 2016 is the next Olympics? When is the next Olympics? Yeah, I'm completely out of touch with that.
I believe it's 2016. You're correct. Yeah, but I don't think it's on the ballot. It's already too late for that.
Yeah. Well, that's too bad. It may be in 2020. I hope that it is for 2020. That would be awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing baseball back in the Olympics again. But anyway, why don't we go ahead and, while we're still on baseball, talk about the little challenge that you and I had. We each picked our opening day kind of pick 'em here to see who was going to win the most matchups. Do you have that information with you, Manny, so we can see how we did on those opening day predictions?
Yes, sir, Dr. Ray. And, I went through this. I really just paid attention to the games that we did not pick the same winner. And, Believe it or not, Dr. Ray, we are actually split down the middle, Dr. Ray. We both won 2 games out of the ones that we did not pick the same winner. So what do you think about that? I guess nobody has to wear the other's favorite team's gear.
There's got to be some kind of a tiebreaker. We got to do some kind of a tiebreaker.
What would be that? Well, we got to figure something out, man.
This we do. Let's see. Maybe we should do why don't we do this? Whoever wins our matchup this week, since we just happen to be playing each other.
That's right.
So
we could do that, Dr. Ray. That's a perfect idea.
All right, perfect. So the tiebreaker has been relegated to whoever wins the matchup between you and I this week for the first week to open up the season. And again, the loser has to wear the other team's colors. So for me, that would be UM, and for you, that would be FSU. And when and where do we have to wear these, Manny? Is that to the FSU game, the FSU Miami game on that day? Is that when we have to wear these things, or how is it going to work here?
Man, I don't know. Maybe we should. When do they play? Don't they play baseball coming up? FSU and UM, don't they play down here at the Alex Rodriguez Park at Mark Light Stadium? Which, let me tell you something, Dr. Ray. I don't know if you've been there lately, but I was just there a couple of days ago with my family on my birthday. Actually, on Saturday I was there, which we saw UM versus Duke. Man, what a nice renovation they have done to that park, man. You know, I really don't like to support Alex Rodriguez anymore. I really I stay away from talking about that guy, but man, that money that he gave to the University of Miami really went to some nice use there at the stadium, and it looks kind of like a little minor league stadium, if you ask me, man.
Well, let me see here. They actually just played against Florida State, but up in Tallahassee on last Friday.
All right.
And then let me see here. When is the next time? We should have a home game. We should have a Florida State home game here coming up again. Oh, Saturday, April 18th. So the 18th at 3 p.m. on Saturday is the next time. So actually in a couple weeks, next weekend, I believe it's going to be. So, yeah, I think that sounds good. That's perfect timing. And, of course, we're going to have to tweet out that picture. And we're going to have to say, we're going to have to say, go other team. So we'll get on Instagram and on all the social media stuff, and we'll make it happen. And, we're about our word here on the Hot Corner, so we'll make sure we'll get that all out to you guys. And you guys can check us out on Instagram. You'll be able to see Manny wearing Florida State colors.
No. You're going to see Dr. Ray wearing UM colors.
All right, my man. Well, I got a 7-point lead right now, so we'll see what ends up happening. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to our health topic of the night. While we have a little bit of time, we've got about 15 minutes here left on the show, so let's go ahead and let's talk about this health topic. We've gotten through the fantasy baseball. We've talked about opening day. Now I want to get into BMR versus BMI, why it's important for you. And last week we talked a lot about weight loss and how weight loss is really an equation. Calories coming in versus calories going out. So, again, calories going out happen in a couple ways. Exercise is one of them, and that's why exercise is important in weight loss. But actually, the largest amount of calories that are expended or burnt every day come from your body's regular, metabolic processes just to keep you alive. So this is called basal metabolic rate, or the base rate of your metabolism. And this is calculated with a special formula. It's called the BMR formula. So I'm going to give you guys the formula here if you want to do this at home. All right, now, it's really important because you have to do If you remember order of operations in math, Manny, do you remember that?
Dr. Ray, come on, man. I No, I do not. I do not remember order of operation, Dr. Ray, from high school.
All right. So order of operations is if you guys remember, it's parentheses come before anything else. All right. So there's some parentheses here. So when we're doing this equation, the things that you need are your height, your age, and your weight. And you're going to plug this into your equation. So your basal metabolic rate. So we'll do Manny's as an example, and we'll do mine as an example so that we can get a little bit of a difference here. So for men, the basal metabolic rate is going to be the number 66 in addition to, and now parentheses, 6.23 times your weight in pounds, close parentheses. Then you're going to add that up to, in parentheses, 12.7 times the height in inches, close parentheses, and then you're going to subtract that number by 6.8 times your years. So, Manny, let's plug your equation in. All right? So, Manny, how much do you weigh right now?
185.
All right, so we're going to do 6.23 times 185. All right? And how much do you, how tall are you, Manny?
5'10", sir.
All right, so 5'10" is going to be 72 inches, correct?
I guess so, Dr. Ray. I don't know. That's 5 times 12. What's that, 60? Plus another 10? That's 70 inches.
So 70 inches. All right, so you're 70 inches tall, okay? And then we're going to subtract that by 6.8 times your age. So how old are you, Manny?
I just turned a whopping 34.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. So 6.23 times 185 is 1,152.6. Then 12.7 times 70 is 889. And then we're going to add those two. So that's going to be 1,152.6 plus 889 equals 2,041.6. And then we need to subtract 6.8 times 34. And that is 231.2. So minus 231.2, 2,041.6 minus 231.2 equals 1,180.4, and then plus the original 66. Manny, your basal metabolic rate is about 1,876 calories per day. So this means just to keep you alive, your body is going to burn about 1,800 calories a day, almost 1,900 calories every single day. So that means that if you were, that's not bad at all. So if you were to do basically a 2,000 calorie diet, all right, you might actually find yourself probably losing some weight.
Yeah, because I go running, I do other activities and stuff like that, correct?
Exactly, because you walk around, because you do different things like that, you would definitely be burning more calories. So 100%, you would be able to, with a 2,000 calorie diet, be able to start to lose some weight. So now that you know your BMR, that's a great way for you to be able to plan how many calories you should be eating per day and all that kind of stuff. So what do you think about that?
And that's great information. Now I got to figure out, how do I figure out how many calories my food has?
So this is a whole nother battle right here, my man. We might have to do a whole nother show based on that. But calorie tracking is something that has actually been made a lot easier now because of the different applications that are out there on the market. So you can actually scan food or scan something on the side of the box. If you look at the nutritional information on the side of the box that you're eating, it'll actually probably even tell you for your serving size what the amount of calories that you're taking in are going to be. So
no, but Dr. Ray, excuse me, and I'm sorry, but at my house, we don't eat out of boxes, man. Everything is fresh. Everything is, we buy meats and we buy fish and we buy, rice and pastas and stuff like that. I don't buy stuff out of boxes. My food doesn't have a little sticker on it.
Well, that's even better, my friend. That's really good. But here's the way that you can do it. You can actually go online pretty easily, and you can find all the amount of calories that are in a serving size of fruit and those types of things. But the problem where it becomes difficult is there's no really specific way to do it. It's just kind of an average, and it's just kind of a guess. But like a large peach, for example, will have a classification, or a certain type of apple will have a certain type of calories associated with it. But again, it's never 100% science unless you're weighing your food. If you weigh your food, you can transfer the weight into calories based on what's in there between carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And so every gram of protein and carbohydrate is worth 4 calories. Every gram of fat is worth 9 calories. So fat is pretty much double the energy, but it's harder to get to. But that's why things that are fat taste so good, because it's a whole bunch of energy. And the way that our body perceives taste is really by the way that it would affect our energy, which is why we get addicted to carbohydrates so much. We start to love carbohydrates because they taste really good because of the energy that they supply immediately for the body. You have carbs, and right away your body has usable energy. It's got sugar. It's got, so our ancestors used to eat these carbohydrates and say, oh, my God, this tastes so good. And now we've kind of, as a society, gotten hooked on that, especially with wheat and with all those types of things that have kind of evolved now up to this point. So, but that's one of the reasons why it's a little bit difficult to track your calories. But we'll get into that a little bit more maybe on the next week's show so that we can go over all that and help everybody out there. But let's go ahead and let's do another BMR. So let's see right here. My BMR, or your BMR was 1,876.4, right? So let's go ahead and let's do my BMR here. All right, so right now we're going to do 66 plus 6.23 times my weight, which is 210 pounds, and then we're going to add that to 12.7 times my height, which is 66 inches, and then minus my age, 6.8 times 30. So you can see how height, how weight kind of play a role here, but also age is really important here as well, too, because metabolism slows down a little bit. So 6.23 times 210 equals 1308.3. 12.7 times 66 equals 838.2. And then 6.8 times 30 equals 204. So let's go ahead and let's add it all up. So we got 66 plus 1,308.3 plus 838.2, and then we're going to subtract 204. So my basal metabolic rate is 2,008.5. So if I were to eat a 2,000 calorie diet without doing any exercise, I would be in a negative caloric expenditure, meaning I'm losing weight. What do you think about that, Manny?
Man, now I'm going to struggle to keep it under 2,000 calories. Man, Dr. Ray, 2,000 calories it's kind of hard, Dr. Ray. It's kind of hard. I like my midnight cookies and milk, Dr. Ray.
Yes, well, do those not come in a box?
You got me. You got me there, sir.
I got you, Manny. I got you. All right, my man. Well, no, it's okay. Listen, I try to tell people one of the things that we want to do is go by kind of the 80-20 rule. Unless you have a disease or you're really facing a problem or a symptom that's changing your quality of life every day, one of the things that you want to do is eat well as much as you possibly can so that you can enjoy the times where you have to celebrate or, where there's a special occasion or whatever the case is. And a lot of people just, every time they go out to eat, they say, oh, I'm out to eat. But if you eat out for every single meal, it's no excuse to order something off the menu that is not good for you. So when you go out, maybe the next time you go out to eat, if you're trying to lose some weight, don't look at the menu. Literally just ask the waiter to bring you chicken and vegetables or fish and vegetables and ask them to grill it. And you'll be surprised, your weight will just start to drop little by little, and the other thing is try to eat at home more. Try to make more vegetables, eat more fruits, those kinds of things. Eat more often, get your metabolism going. Don't skip breakfast. These are all things that will help you do better as far as controlling your weight and keeping your metabolism up. But you definitely have to make sure that you are eating enough calories every day as well, too. Otherwise, your body goes into starvation mode, and that's not good either. So I would definitely suggest, if you guys have questions about weight loss, there's programs that we can put you on to help out, to help you lose some weight. I have, detox programs that can help out as well, too. We spoke about detox a couple of weeks back. Again, detox is not always the best thing for you. It may not always be what we need to do right off the bat. We might need to take care of a couple other things first. But detox is another good way to help your body lose weight and then also be ready for that weight loss. Because remember that your fat cells hold toxins. And so if you start losing weight and you start clouding your body with toxins and you're already toxic, you're going to end up having some other health issues. So that's why weight loss isn't always easy. There's a lot of things that go into it, but this is just one example of the way that we can help to calculate exactly what type of calories you should be eating every day and to find out exactly, the best way for you to be able to lose weight. So this is clinically something that can be done that a lot of people aren't able to do at home. But now that you guys know a little bit about what's going on, you have an idea of what BMR is and how it's used, and now you can see exactly how to get it done. So one other thing that will get done and that happens often is the use of BMI. And I know we only have a couple minutes left, but I want to go through it real quick. So BMI is a way that they use to calculate kind of like a predictor for heart disease or whatever the case is. But I don't like BMI because it doesn't take into account any type of height or weight or anything like that at all. It literally is just it doesn't take into account any type of muscle. So for people who are athletic in nature, they are not going to have any type of, they're going to be obese based on this. So it's kind of a problem here. So I want to go through that with you guys and let you know that, for example, insurance companies, they will use BMI very often because they realize that, hey, maybe there's a couple of people that we can kind of classify as overweight, even though they may not be overweight. So there's ranges to this BMI, and the way that the BMI works is the BMI classification will have you as, regular or as obese or whatever the case is. So we look at here. The way that it works is it's your BMI equals your mass or your weight divided by your height squared, okay? And then you multiply that number. So your height and weight are the only tools used. And to me, I don't like that because, for example, myself, I got a couple extra pounds on, but I'm not obese by any means, and BMI says that I am obese. My BMI is over 30, which is classified as obese because I'm short and stocky. So, again, something that is not useful in my eyes as a medical prediction, especially for different types of bodies, but something that is used often. So just wanted to make sure you guys know the difference between BMR and BMI. And if you have any questions about that, we can review it again next week. I know that we're running out of time here. So I'm going to wrap up my portion of the show, and then, Manny, we're going to go ahead and let you go ahead and take it on. I believe we have some guys from MIZUNO on the line. So all you guys that are out there listening, go ahead and stay tuned for some of that coming on. I want to go ahead and tell you guys thanks for listening to the Hot Corner tonight with me. Manny, thanks for being on here with me each and every Wednesday night. Looking forward to seeing what happens here at the end of the week so that I can go to the UM-FSU game with you with some FSU stuff on with the both of us.
All right, Dr. Ray. Hey, for everybody listening in, do not stop listening. We have Jeff Gare and Todd Cadenhead from MIZUNO Sports. And maybe we might ask them about BMR and BMI. Dr. Ray, what do you think about that?
Well, find out what's going on, see if they know anything about it, my man.
Definitely, sir. Well, Dr. Ray, thank you again for doing the Hot Corner segment of Wednesday night's show. Any last shout-outs?
Well, just to everybody out there listening, again, if you guys have any questions, anything going on weight loss-wise, let me know. We've got a lot of great products here at the office and a lot of good information for you. Any questions, feel free to tweet us. Call in next week. Let Manny know any questions you have, and we'll try to get him on the show for next week. Everybody out there, have a great one, and be well. This is Dr. Ray saying take care, and we'll see you next week.
Welcome to the ISPS Radio Podcast Show, hosted by Manuel T. Ferrero III, the Commissioner of ISPS. Listen in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the International Slow Pitch Softball Radio Channel on Blog Talk Radio. Call the show at 347-637-3978 and talk about slow pitch softball from around the world. Equipment reviews, special guests, ISPS events, and more. That's 347-637-3978. Now, here's your host, Manuel Ferrero.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for continuing to listen in. This is the first time that we host the ISPS radio show right after the Hot Corner segment with Dr. Ray. As you know, Dr. Ray always hosts his show on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we used to host our show on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., but now we are right after the Dr. Ray show right here on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. or whenever Dr. Ray's Hot Corner segment finishes. But great topics today on Dr. Ray's show. I hope I win this week against Dr. Ray in fantasy baseball in our fantasy baseball listener league. Good luck to all the other players, all of our listeners that are playing. We decided to just go with a 10-team league for this fantasy baseball. Number one, because it's our first season of fantasy baseball. Number one for me and some of the other players playing, but for the listener league, we just finished the fantasy football league, so now we're doing the fantasy baseball league. And it's fun. It's a lot of smack talk. I don't know if it's public. I'm going to talk to Dr. Ray and see if our other listeners that are actually not playing in the league could actually go in and see our smack talking and all the stuff going on. But on our show tonight, we have Jeff Gare and Todd Cadenhead from MIZUNO. Guys, are you on the show with us tonight?
Yes, sir. We're here.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, Jeff and Todd, welcome to the show. Welcome, and congratulations on the. I was just reading over and looking over the press release that Team Mizzy Slow Pitch they released back in March. Congratulations to you guys on that. First, Jeff, why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, I'm very fortunate. I've heard good things about MIZUNO for quite a few years now, and I was lucky they approached me in February or so and asked me if I'd be interested in swinging the product and being a sponsored player. So I tried it out at an indoor facility here in my hometown and fell in love with the product right away. Thought it's a really good bat this year, and the new Mamba is going to be one of the top bats, I believe, this summer for sure.
Nice. And Todd, you re-signed with MIZUNO. How does it feel to come back and to have Jeff now on the team over there at MIZUNO?
It feels good. It's I'm very proud to be with MIZUNO. There's no place that I'd rather be than with a quality company that makes great products and treats you like gold. And to have Jeff along, it's a bit of a coup in my opinion, because he's been one of the greatest players in Canada for a really long period of time, and to get him on board was a really big deal for MIZUNO. With our new offerings this year with the Mamba, USSSA, ASA, USSSA dual stamp, and the new No Doubt, we're just real excited to get them out there to people and get them trying it and see how great these bats really are.
Well, now that we're talking about the bats, where can our listeners find them? Are they already out for sale?
They are. They've been released in April, so they're out at retailers, online vendors, anywhere. If you Google it, talk to your retailer. If they don't have it, then ask them why, because they're a great product. They take durability and performance to a new level, in my opinion. We've got a couple bats right now that we've got 2,000 or 3,000 swings on, and they're still holding up strong. And we're up in Canada here, and it's still pretty cold out. We're sitting them outside, and we're not having any issues with durability, and the performance is fantastic. So nothing but positives with these new products for sure. Wow, and you mentioned you guys are in Canada, Jeff. Let's talk about Canada. How does it feel to only have about 2 or 3 months season long?
It's not too bad where we are. We're from southwestern Ontario, so we're only about an hour from Michigan. So okay. Kind of we have the same weather that maybe Detroit would get. So it's not too bad how far south we are in Ontario. But unfortunately, this hasn't been a very good spring so far. It actually still snowed here on Easter. So, but it's starting to warm up now, and we were able to get outside 2 days ago. So hopefully within the next week or so we'll get some nice spring-like weather and can get out and get going. And our league season starts up in about another week from now, and then our tournament schedule starts the May 1st weekend. So yeah, we're just around. So
May until when?
Usually the end of September, maybe the odd early October. So it's not as cold as everybody thinks where we are here.
Wow, man! But that's only about half of the year.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow.
We're fortunate to have a lot of nice indoor baseball facilities around here, so we definitely take advantage of that in the off season.
That's right. Didn't the Minnesota Twins, didn't they used to play indoors, and now they got the new stadium? Now it's an outdoor stadium, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And we got the Rogers Center here where the Blue Jays play, so they have the retractable roof, so they'll be keeping it closed right now for this first couple weeks of the season, but hopefully it'll be opening up soon. And it's a nice complex because it's got the indoor when it's rainy and cold, and the roof opens when it's sunny and warm in the summer. Yeah,
that's something new down here from where we are. We're based. Our world headquarters is in Miami, Florida, so we just got a retractable roof stadium down here, which we actually.
And you didn't use it.
We actually got excuse me?
And you didn't use it the first game. You let it rain.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's typical Miami. Some guy that just has one job to open and close the stadium roof, and he was probably, who knows what he was doing. But, yeah, man, the first ever rain delay in a retractable roof stadium. Of course, it has to be Miami on opening day. So, oh man, what can I tell you? But we're not used to it. That's our first stadium with a retractable roof. I guess I'm sorry to badmouth Miami, but you guys are more used to indoor facilities over there. But guys, not to mention your ages or anything like that, but each one of you, how long have you guys been playing slow pitch softball?
We've been playing for 20 years at the highest level in Canada.
Beautiful. Nice. Any you guys want to talk about any accomplishments so that our listeners could really tell you guys are the real deal?
Well, I don't want to speak for Jeff, but I know that winning the border battle in 2010 in Oklahoma against Team USA was a big thrill for us. Going into that, we're the player pool that the U.S. has to draw from, and like you were talking about before, play year-round and everything else. For us to put a group of guys together to go down and win that game 30-29 in Oklahoma on live television was something that I'll certainly never forget, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, I remember watching that game. Tremendous job by you guys. And how did that feel? How did that feel winning that game? Was that the first time ever Canada won or in a long time, I remember, right?
Yeah, that was the second year of the border battle. The first year we lost, I believe, 30-22 or 23, so we gave them a pretty good game, but then the second year we happened to pull that off there. So it was definitely one of the highlights of my career too. It was pretty exciting to be a part of, that's for sure.
Beautiful. And what about this year? What's coming up this year? What does your 2015 schedule look like?
I myself, we call it up here in Ontario the Super Series. So it's kind of like a provincial tournament. It's like a state tournament down there. So we play about 8 weekends out of the year for the Super Series, and then I've been fortunate enough to be invited back for the Border Battle Team Canada tryout camp at the end of May. So I'm hoping I have a good camp and make the Border Battle team again and be able to participate that come August 19th, I believe, and it's going to be held in Michigan this year. And
nice.
My year's been cut short. I've got a torn rotator cuff and a bicep tendon that I'm currently waiting on surgery. So,
we should have asked Dr. Ray about that.
Ask Dr. Ray if he can get down here and perform the surgery. I'd be more interested in getting that sorted out.
No, Dr. Ray Dr. Ray, he will suggest surgery as a last option. He would probably, I don't know, he'll probably do some witchcraft or some type of concoction or something. He might crack some bones or something.
Some BMR stuff.
And get you fixed up.
Yeah, that'd be good. So I'm not going to be playing. I'm going to be at the park with a lot of product and getting it in people's hands and making sure that everybody gets an opportunity to swing the bats. I'm also, because I'm not able to play this year, I'm one of the assistant coaches on Team Canada, which is my first foray into coaching. But I'm very proud to be a part of that group that's going to go to Michigan and see if we can't repeat what we did in 2010. So it's still going to be a busy summer getting the products out there and promoting the product with as many people as we can.
Beautiful, man. Well, good luck. Good luck in what'd you say? Was it in Oklahoma again?
It's Midland, Michigan.
Oh, Midland, Michigan. The one that you guys won was in Oklahoma, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Nice. So I guess what's up with Team Mizzy in Canada? What is Team Mizzy? What can you guys tell me about that? And what is their mission? What is their mission statement and their direction?
Well, I'd say that Team Mizzy is the creation of Adam Vella at MIZUNO, who wanted to put together a group of guys who play a lot of slow pitch, good players that are very enthusiastic, great people, and want to promote a great product. So the mission for the Team Mizzy guys is to be at the park and make the product available and just show just how good it is. Participate in demos, help out with any type of home run derbies or events or charity events and such that MIZUNO is going to be a part of, to try and really get out to the forefront of the slow pitch everyday user, to really give everybody an opportunity to try these bats and just see how good they are, as opposed to the days when you'd have to go and buy a bat and try it out and all the rest of that stuff. We'll get them out to guys, try them, and then we're confident that once they do try them, they'll be looking to go out and buy the product.
Beautiful. And you guys only concentrate in Canada? You guys don't come down to the States, Team Mizzy?
No, this is just a Canadian-based MIZUNO sponsorship program. So.
Nice. Well, good luck with that. And Jeff, now that you joined us back again, how are this 2015 line of MIZUNO slow pitch softball bats? How good are they? How are they different from the previous lines from MIZUNO coming out?
I can't answer from the previous lines, but I know this year the minute the first time I tried it indoors, I felt very comfortable with the bat. Thought it had great bat control. It felt like it was coming off really nice, but you don't know for sure until you get outdoors. And we happened to be able to get outside about a week ago, and I was very, very impressed how well the ball was coming off, how durable it was, and it's one of the best bats I've ever swung in the 20 years I've been playing. So I'm very excited to get the season going and get out there and using it.
Now, question: when you guys play indoors, do you guys feel that you maybe turn it down a notch, maybe play at an 80% rate instead of, let's say, 110?
Yeah, I think when you're indoors, you kind of you work on things. You work on moving the ball around, placing it, kind of going with the pitches. It's kind of tough to work on your home run swing indoors because the cage is right there, and it's pretty you're in a pretty tight confine there. So I think indoors, just kind of in the winter for us, just kind of keeps us loose, keeps us swinging, and gives us a chance to work on a few things before the season starts and we get outdoors.
I bet. I've never played in an indoor facility like the ones you guys are used to up there, but I would bet, because it's not like indoors, and I'm pretty sure the ball you guys hit the roof all the time, correct? Is it an out or something?
No, usually just you play it off the roof there, but you definitely make sure the pitcher's got a screen up. That's for sure, because there's not much room for mistakes indoors. That's for sure.
Now, do any of you guys pitch?
No. Todd and I are both infielders.
Smart gentlemen, smart guys. You guys are not crazy enough to be pitchers, huh?
No, those pitchers are a different breed, I tell you.
We do have a couple pitchers on Team Busy, but we don't talk to them much. They're a little different, those guys.
Yeah, right. Now, what about your guys? Do they wear pitcher's mask or no mask?
Up in the A level for Super Series, I'd say about half the pitchers would wear a mask nowadays. In league and stuff, players don't wear them too often now. But in high level tournaments, I'd say it's getting close to be 50% of the pitchers now are wearing masks.
Yeah, we see it a lot more and more. We actually posted a few weeks ago. We posted a picture of a gentleman in Dominican Republic who got popped right in the eyeball, and he lost the eye. Man, his eyeball kind of blew up to the size of a small tennis ball, kind of like a racquetball.
Oh man!
And he actually, poor guy, he lost his eye, and it was an altered bat. And over there in the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and in those third world countries, you find a lot smaller fields. Some of them play in like 45-foot bases, 50-foot bases. It's really, really confined. And then when you add that plus an altered bat and an older gentleman pitching, the reaction time is just not, it's not going to be there, man. So we posted that picture, and we got a lot of different comments from both sides, saying, from both sides of the fence, but it's a dangerous thing, and we do see a lot more pitchers using pitchers masks, and we strongly recommend it. We really don't, we think pitching is crazy enough, but
it's almost to the point where it's going to get mandated at some point.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see it at one point. All the associations do it. I know some are already going in that direction, but they received a lot of heat about it, especially down here. But I believe if all the associations, if everybody gets on the same page and starts thinking about the safety of the player, number one, the player is who keeps you alive, because if you start killing off your pitchers, which is the rarest position on the field, you're not going to have any pitchers out there left to actually pitch for the team. So you're going to kill your sport. So I don't know. There's a lot of discussion about that, but that's for another show, guys. What about the Mamba? Now that we just have a couple more minutes, what about the Mamba? How hot is it? What's up with the Mamba? I love the color scheme, the black and the green. Just like a Mamba, but how hot is it, guys?
It's as hot as any bat I've hit, and Mizuno's always made really great bats, but we haven't gotten them out to as many people as we like. This Mamba is at least as hot as the best bats out there, and I'd be surprised if there's anything hotter than that bat this summer.
I'm looking at it right now. What's the difference between the green model and the black model?
The green is a USSSA and ASA dual stamp to use in both associations, and the black Mamba is a USSSA only bat.
Is that a 1.20, 1.2?
Yes, it is.
Okay, nice, guys. Real nice. I love the color scheme, man. I think you guys really hit it out of the park with that. Who was that you, Jeff, who designed that bat, or was that you, Todd?
Well, it's neither one of us. It was Chad, I think, in the U.S. who designed it. It's a different design than the previous bats from a performance standpoint, because the blackout from last year was a great durable bat. It took a lot of swings to get worked in. The push now is to try and get the bat broken in as quickly as possible, get down to that 220 level, 225 level. And these bats break in much more quickly and get to the lowest possible legal level very quickly, which is a great innovation for Mizuno to get those bats that hot, that quick. So you get it into the wrapper, you're taking 100 swings with it, and it's a rocket launcher after that, which is what guys want these days. They want the bat to break in real quick. They want it to be good in the beginning.
Yeah, like you said about the blackouts, a couple months ago we hosted a hit my stick tournament down here with the blackouts, because we got a tremendous deal with the blackouts. It was a couple months ago. I mean, everybody loved them, but yeah, it is true. It takes a little while to break in, but it's still a great bat. I mean, Mizuno comes out with great products, man. I can't wait to actually see the Mambas out there.
Well, everything Mizuno makes is great.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sure we're going to see them. We're going to see both of them out soon, because we allow both ASA or USSSA stamped as long as they pass compression testing, that we have the machines out there at the tournaments. We allow them. What do you think about that? Do you think more tournaments are going to be moving on to bat testing or random testing or some type of bat testing?
Yeah, actually, our Super Series I was just telling you about, they do bat testing quite regularly. So it's just before before the beginning of the season, every bat gets tested and has to have an approval stamp on it to get used. So actually, here in Canada, they're following that program to a T. So it's definitely made a big difference up here for sure with the bat. So bat testing is very.
Oh, I hear you. Definitely at the higher levels. I mean, it's a given, but I really think it should be done at the lower levels, mandatory, because in the lower levels you're going to see lower caliber players with lower reaction times, like that gentleman in Dominican Republic. You're going to have people that can't even they won't be able to control a swing or control a bat, and especially if it's altered, they're just gonna, it's just not good. It's not good. So I'm an advocate of bat testing, especially in the lower divisions. In the higher divisions, some of these guys are pros. They really know how to handle a bat, and on defense they're tremendous. But definitely in the lower divisions, we need to see a lot more of these directors, especially those that are in it for the money. They have enough money to go out there and spend some money on a bat testing machine and start testing at their tournaments, man, and just cleaning up the game. I don't know. That's just my opinion, guys.
No, I agree. I think a few years ago in the past, it was getting pretty bad and carried away, but I know up here it's been cleaned up pretty good, and it's not as big of an issue as it used to be. So I think in Canada here, we're very fortunate that it's cleaned up quite a bit.
Yeah. No, I hear you. It is turning around. It was a lot worse a few years ago. You are definitely right, and it just we could do better. We could totally clean up the game a little bit more. But guys, we're running out of time. Any last shout-outs? I want to give a shout-out to Adam over there in Mizuno, Canada, who got us in contact with you guys. I know I was just teasing about the designing of the bat. I know Adam told me you guys are not very technically savvy. As a matter of fact, he told me one of you only has at least one of you has a Twitter account, which only has about four followers. Who is that?
That's me. We're building slow. Slow build.
Well, we gotta get some more followers for you. We're gonna help you out. We got the Twitter handle from Adam. We'll try to get you some more followers. But any last shout-outs from you guys? Go right ahead.
No, just to the Team Izzy guys, keep up the good work, and it's going to be an exciting summer for us for sure.
Yeah, if anybody out there gets an opportunity to hit these MIZUNO bats, take the opportunity to hit them because they are a great bat that are going to turn a lot of heads this summer.
Definitely. I can't wait to see them down here. And you said they're already out. Where can they purchase them again?
I wouldn't in the U.S. I don't have a list of any of the retailers that would have them in stock right now. But online you can search and just do a search and have a look at where they're at. And if not, then talk to your local retailer and ask them if they've got them in yet. And if not, why not?
Exactly. Why not? Why aren't you carrying the MIZUNO products? And you guys, well, at least some of your Twitter handles are very active on Twitter. So just search for MIZUNO and ask their Twitter handle. I'm pretty sure they'll lead you in the right direction in your region or your area to find the bats. But definitely check it out. It's the Mamba 2015 model from MIZUNO. And Jeff and Todd, thank you again for coming on the show, man. We'll be talking soon, all right?
Thanks very much for having us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We appreciate it much.
Thank you, guys. And that was it for our show. Thank you again to Dr. Ray for doing the Hot Corner segment. We're going to be featuring both of our shows now on Wednesday nights. We're going to start merging them to try to bring you a better show on Wednesday nights instead of two smaller shows on two different nights. We're going to start doing a bigger, better show here on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to run at least for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours until 9 p.m. So thank you again. My name is Manuel Ferrero. Thank you to Dr. Ray. Thank you to Jeff Gare and Todd Cadenhead from MIZUNO. And we'll see who's going to win between Dr. Ray and I on the Fantasy Baseball Week 1 challenge that we have going on. Thank you again. My name is Manuel Ferrero. You can follow us on, on Twitter at ISPSO, and also on Facebook at facebook.com/ISPSO, and Instagram at ISPSO. You could also follow me personally at Manuel Ferrero on Twitter. This has been the ISPS and Hot Corner show now on Wednesday nights. Thanks again for listening, guys. Peace.
You just heard the ISPS Radio Podcast with host Manuel Ferrero. Remember to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ISPSO and on Facebook at facebook.com/ISPSO. And check out all the info from our show and everything from international slow pitch softball on our website, ISPSsoftball.com. Listen in to the ISPS Radio Podcast every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on the International Slow Pitch Softball Radio channel on Blog Talk Radio.